Australia Zoo today, Steve Irwin Zoo at Beerwah. Checking the zebras and the giraffes out. There's some rhinoceroses over there. Just out of Beerwah's the Australia Zoo by Crikey Zoo. Steve Irwin Zoo. See what else we can find.
A very striking pale blue colour, not like the amber colour that Sage's eyes were, and that is because Hunter is actually completely blind. So he can't see anything in there, not even light and dark, and those pale blue eyes that you see are actually prosthetics, they're fake eyes. So Hunter, when he was a cub, he had a very severe form of cataracts that affected his eyes, and that progressed very quickly. By the time he was about a year old, he was pretty much completely blind. Now, we did try a lot of different things to try and save his eyesight. Lots of surgeries, including a lens transplant, which initially was successful, but unfortunately Hunter's body ended up rejecting those foreign lenses, so that surgery didn't work. So we made the decision to take his eyes and give him those prosthetic ones to keep those sockets nice and comfy. And he does get lubricating eye drops in his eyes every day to make sure that they stay nice and comfy. But as you can see, he's very good at making his way around this habitat here. Now, he has lived here his entire life, so he does have quite a good muscle memory of this habitat out here. So he's using those very sensitive front paws to feel his way around. He's using his hearing, his sense of smell, and probably using that sound of that waterfall to navigate where he is as well. So he's very good, and he definitely knows that that toy is in here. So a number of different ways he may know that. He may have heard Jen throw that into the pool and heard the little splash. But he can probably also hear the little ripples of water hitting that toy as it floats in the water. Good job, Hunter. And now he's going to try and find a way to try and pull that toy out. And like I said, it is very heavy, so he's struggling a little bit there, which is a bit of a surprise. Tigers can take down prey around 3 times their own size. So for Hunter here to easily be around 300 kilos for him to take down an item of prey. So in the wild, they'll hunt anything from small bird species, wild boar, wild deer, anything up to the size of a buffalo or wild cattle as well. So they are ambush predators, so they will try and sneak up on their prey item, which might be what Hunter's trying to do now. Try and sneak up and surprise that toy to get it out of the water. But they are only successful about 10% of the time when they do hunt. So when they do hunt, they do try and take down the biggest prey item that they can, but also the easiest, so they can get as much food as they can by giving as little energy as possible. They don't know when their next meal is going to be coming. It could be another 7 to 10 days before they eat again. So they will get all of that meat off of the bone that they can. And they do have 30 teeth in total to help get all that meat. So they have those 4 big canines that tigers are famous for. That will help take down their prey. They have smaller incisors at the front of their mouth for plucking off fur and feathers. And then they also have large carnassials, like molars, at the back for shearing meat off of the bone. And their tongue, for any of you that have cats at home, have a bumpy little tongue. Our tigers are the same, but just on a much larger scale. So it's like sandpaper, their tongue, and they are able to lick the bones and get off as much meat as possible. For Hunter here, he had his breakfast this morning, so all of these little pieces around the enclosure are just little treats for him to find throughout the day here. So I think he's trying to navigate his way around and find that toy again. But you see him use those big front paws to try and hold that toy. So all of that muscle is in the front of their body. So their head, the neck, the jaws to hold on to their prey, as well as those big forepaws.
This is on watch, on duty. Isn't that funny? That's good the way they protect the rest of the family. Take it in turns on who's on guard.
Meerkats guarding their family. He's on watch up the top there.
They're not very big, are they?
This one down here digging for a feed. This one's catching ants.
Hello.
Ants wouldn't be a real big feed for them. Look, it's catching the ants, Mum.
Is he?
This one, yeah, he's here catching all the little black ants.
Oh yeah, I can see him. Yeah, he's trying to get that one out of the crevice.
Should be a real good feed for it.
I don't think so.
Have to eat a lot of them.
Might be a delicacy.
This one's just fully relaxing out in the sun, sitting there.
Aren't they alert? The bird only whistles and he looks up in the trees. Yeah, I know you see it. See how quick he is when the bird whistles?
Yeah, there's another one.
Right on to it.
There's
So I'm
another one
helping
too.
you.
What are you looking at? All good? All good? Yeah. I'm just having a look here with you.
I thought so. Okay, I have an idea. You're on board. I think we should give away some free stuff, yeah? But I don't know. Does anyone here even like free stuff?
Yeah, I bet you do, but I bet you also know nothing in this world is ever truly for free. So, Mel and I are going to make you work for your prizes today. And hey Mel, it is a zoo. What do you think about some animal impersonations?
I love that game. I think that's going to be fun, but I like it so much I want to do it twice, Candace. Can we perhaps see me too?
Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so let's look at the size today. Alright, you know what, I do have a little bit of a bigger size. So, I'm going to take from this gentleman here all the way just before that shaded area. You're going to be with me, my beautiful group number 1.
Okay, perfect. So that means if you are on this side of the Colosseum, you're the lucky one to my group number 2.
I'm excited. Alrighty, Mel, you know what? We're going to go first. So, we are number 1 after all. But I need your help. Some inspiration. What animal do you want to see group number 1 impersonate?
Okay, I'm feeling inspired by an animal that's close by. I'll see if you can pick it. Alright? I don't think I've done this one for you before. Are you ready?
Yeah, the stars of the show at the moment, apparently. And I just, yeah. I love it. Alrighty, you know what? I actually want to see everybody try and impersonate an ibis today. Now, the best ibis impersonation that Mel and I see, you are going to get that prize. Are you ready? Your best ibis impersonation. 3, 2, 1, go! Amazing. I loved it. However, my ibis is still going up here above X and 9 with the colourful blue picture. Yeah, that's you. She's already still going. No. You keep going. Give her a big round of applause.
The gentleman who had his feet in a box of chips.
Oh,
Today is a celebration of wildlife and conservation. Your help is thanks to Steve Green, all around the world.
These beautiful birds flying above our heads are the cords. They're in the Central and South America, and they are pretty hard to miss, not only through sight, but sound.
There are 17 different species of macaw, and they can range from the size of a small parrot all the way up to the hyacinth, which can grow over 1 meter long.
Like us, they have unique personalities and looks. If you're able to see our macaws up close, you may notice feather lines on their face. These are like our fingerprints, unmatchable to any other.
However, it's because of their beauty they are being stolen from their forest homes and being sold as pets. But make no mistake,
These are the ones that went straight in underneath.
these beautiful birds flying free, and that is by always saying no to the illegal wildlife trade.
Exactly, and trust me guys, you do not want to have a bird that lives to be about 100 years of age on average, and is not ever as hyperactive as a 5-year-old child.
That's right, well, let's take this from feathers to scales.
Let's do that. Check out some of our gorgeous snakes joining us in the Caucasus today. Now you might be quite surprised to find out that right here in Australia, we're actually home to more venomous species of snake than non-venomous. But I'm sure you'll be very happy to find out the gorgeous snakes joining us in the Caucasus today are of the non-venomous kind. Right here at Australia Zoo, and that is why they're very relaxed around people.
If you were to see the world through a snake's eyes, you'd notice that they rely on movement rather than colour or shape, and they don't actually have ears.
Right, so if we were to see a snake and scream, they're not going to do anything, right? They can't really hear us. But if we would accidentally stand near one, or even on one, that obviously would be a very different story.
It is if the snake feels cornered or threatened. The only thing it can do to protect itself is bite. And that's why we hear most people are usually bitten when they're purposefully trying to catch or even kill a snake.
Unfortunately, first aid for an Australian snake bite is quite simple. If you or your mates were ever unfortunate enough to be bitten by a venomous snake, there are a few items that can come in very handy.
Yeah, just like your compression bandage. Now, most Australian snakes' venom actually attacks the lymphatic system.
There's always helping us out a bunch. And I tell you what, if you're ever traveling around Australia, very handy to have one of these. This is Luca. Thank you so much, Luca, for delivering the bandage for us. And I am quite serious though, very important to travel around Australia with one of these compression bandages. Now, if you didn't have one, you could use an item of clothing, or a cloth or a towel or something like that.
That's a really good point. Thanks for saving the day there, Jez. But you know what? I think there's no one better to demonstrate the rest for us than Steve and Terry themselves.
Here in Australia, we've got a technique that we use to get bitten by a snake. It's very successful. Right now, right there. I got it! It's the dreaded road snake! Highly venomous! Perfect! Ah! It's bit me! Right on my head! Right there. Terry! Terry! I'm being bitten by a snake!
What kind of snake?
A road snake! Highly venomous road snake! There it is right there!
Be calm.
Be calm!
Lay down.
I can't, the road snake got me! The road snake's still there!
You must lay down.
Oh. Okay, wait, you see where the fang marks are?
Yes, I can see the fang marks. I have a pressure bandage. So
Where do I go, man? Where do I go?
No, you must lay down and be calm.
Okay, I'm calm then.
Are you calm?
But I might die.
No, you won't die if you are calm. I'm putting the pressure bandage on.
Okay.
Does it kind of hurt because it's really going on tight?
Yeah, it's a little bit tight.
Okay, don't cry.
I'll try hard.
Okay, pressure bandage.
This guys.
Thanks very much, guys. Now here, I give you a several round of applause. Very important to know our snake safety. Now, here in Australia, we are home to such an incredible diversity of bird life. So if you keep your eyes to the skies, you might be lucky enough to spot a beautiful whistling kite, just like Fletcher here. Now, whistling kites, they get their name from a very distinct whistle-like call. And these are incredibly hard birds, able to survive some of the harshest landscapes, making them one of the most widespread species of raptor to call Australia home. Now, raptors are specialised birds of prey, and they do possess a few key features. Those are excellent vision, a hooked or curved beak, and sharp and powerful talons used to take down those prey items. Guys, they're not fussy eaters at all. They'll go after anything that they can get their talons on. That's anything small like insects, reptiles, small mammals, and sometimes even other species of bird. They're naturally very opportunistic, and rarely would they pass an easy feed. So a really common place that you can spot these guys in the wild is cruising above our roads as they keep an eye out for fresh pieces of roadkill. But the little Fletcher himself, well, he's very special to us here at the zoo. He's actually a rescued bird. So he came in through our wildlife hospital with an injury that left him completely blind in just one of his eyes. Due to this blindness, he was deemed as unreleasable from the wild,
But he has such a great life here at the zoo, and he makes such a fantastic ambassador. So let's give him a huge round of applause. But we are taking now from aerial down to aquatic, where we open up a whole new world of hunting, where there are some species of birds that like to dive as deep and as fast as fish. And that's exactly how cormorants, just like these two, catch those aquatic meals. So we've just been joined by Albert and Scuba. Albert's the larger of the two, he's a great cormorant, while Scuba, the smaller one, is a little quiet pied cormorant. And as you can see, they are both perfectly designed for life under the water. Now this is because they actually lack that fully water-resistant coating around their feathers that many other birds do possess. This is what allows them to dive to those greater depths in pursuit of that prey. Now it is great for life in the water, but birds cannot take to the skies with their feathers. That's why you see cormorants flying the riverbanks, holding their wings outstretched, just as if they're hanging themselves out to dry. But Albert and Scuba, they are two of just 5 cormorant species that do call Australia home. So whenever you're out and about around beaches and waterways, keep an eye out and you might spot some of their mates. Now we have shown you some birds that dive beneath the water. There are some that do prefer to wade in through the shallows. This next bird, he will be making his grand entrance from outside of our crocosium. These birds, they are able to soar at the highest of altitudes, yet aerial prey is not their choice. These are aquatic predators, very well-equipped fishermen that stalk the shallows in search of that fresh catch. Now if you direct your eyes to just over the roofline, we're about to be joined by the only species of stork in Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Douglas! Oh, then now we get to give a big round of applause to Douglas. So Douglas here is a beautiful jabberoo, or more commonly known as a black-necked stork. But let's check him out as he makes his way into the water. Those long legs may look funny in flight. You can see they keep his body high and dry along the waterline. These shallows is where he uses stealth and precision to stab out and catch those prey items. Things that jabberoos look for are anything like fish, crustaceans, eels, and way up north, sometimes baby saltwater crocodiles. Now, our favourite fact about the species is that they are sexually dimorphic, which simply means you can tell the males and females apart just by looking at it. So Douglas has dark coloured eyes, telling us he's a male, but the females have these bright yellow eyes. Now, the last few species that we have already so far, they rely on our waterways for their survival. That's why it is so important that we all do our part by digging our rubbish and keeping these waterways clean and clear for future generations to come. But you're all one very lucky audience now. We've actually got the most interactive birds joining us in the crocosium. I know they're excited to get out here and say hi again. I'd love to introduce Candace to take it away.
That was amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Zoe. G'day again, everybody. This is my name, Tallow. Now, Tallow is a very beautiful yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Not only have we taught her to fly from point to point, but we've actually also taught her to fly from person to person. And to demonstrate this here today, I am going to need the help of an adult volunteer in our audience. So who here wants to meet Tallow face to face? Oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to go with this side. You have a double wave going. The lady with the khaki shirt. That's you. Now, can you just stand up for me? Now just reach into your wallet beside you and pull me out a $5 note, okay? Now, I can hear a couple of you laughing, but we actually need this note. Tallow doesn't know this person, so instead, we've actually taught her to fly to an everyday common object, which just so happens to be money. How did you go? You've got a $5? Perfect. Now, can you just fold that note in half? Fold it in half again. Now place it loosely between 2 fingers and put your hand out really strong out to the side, just nice and level. Yeah, a little bit more down for me if you don't mind. Yeah, that's it. Now Tallow should see that note and know exactly who to fly to.
just fight really hard and find out your rabbit? No, we are joking. We will return it to you. Just the one arm out to the side, but this time, can you just place your palm facing upwards? That's it. A little bit lower. Now, Tello is going to return this line via airmail. Once she does place that note into your hand, place a few fingers over it. And thank you so much for being my volunteer. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Tello. Demons off the burger, our rainbow and red colour loading! Beautiful birds, uninterested in flight, and such a breathtaking sight of our diverse Australian landscape. Our friends now are like
Every morning when I sit out and have my cup of tea, not so much now,
birds in Australia.
when I sit out in the summer months,
But all of our beautiful birds, they rely on push for their
chirping
food
away
and shelter.
beautifully in the
So let's
morning.
remember, no push, please, no birds.
Featuring Zoe's worldwide habitat loss, who is the biggest threat to the survival of our gorgeous wildlife.
So let's make a difference today. Whoever you are, wherever you live, grow a native plant in your backyard, and sooner or later you'll have amazing native wildlife living at your place.
How about a big round of applause for Zoe? Quick fabulous! Fantastic! I was lucky I got the word out. I'm crazy on that, sorry. I was excited. That was absolutely lovely. But you know what, Mel? This leaves us one thing left to do.
Well, let's do it.
Who wants to see the crops?
At 3.6 meters long, weighing in at 350 kilograms, your crocodile today is Monty.
Right, now 260 million years ago, there were no mammals or no birds, there were dinosaurs, and we are about to meet one. A living fossil, a link to the creatures of the past.
There are 27 species of crocodilian found all over the planet, from alligators to gharials, caimans to your true crocs. They're the world's most perfect and unchanged predators, surviving challenges and eras where so many others have failed.
Now, most impressive of all life flight is Australia's apex predator. Now, this is the animal that towers way above all other species of reptile.
The saltwater croc grows to be the largest and most aggressive species of crocodilian. But here to tell you all about it, we have Nero. Please make him feel welcome to the Australia Zoo Croc Team!
Cheers, guys. I hope every day so far is going to get a whole lot better. So, Monty slowly making his way, just about to pop out of that canal system right now. Now, with Monty's help and with Zach's help, all we're going to do is show you exactly how a crocodile works in the wild. So, what he'll be doing is he'll be hunting and stalking animals coming down to the water's edge. One of his favourite food sources is feral pigs. That's the mango we brought Zach out today. He looks a lot like a feral pig, so it makes it a lot easier for us. He's our life back. So what we're going to do, we'll lure him over and he'll act entirely like a wild crocodile. So he'll hunt from beneath the water's surface, he can feel the taps, but the biggest mistake someone makes is just standing too close to the water's edge. Is this. They go in the water, knee deep to get a better spot to have a fish, if not right out in the middle because it's stinking hot and they want to cool down. He doesn't have to pop up and see where I am. He can feel exactly where I am just by splashing, just by tapping. Look at the food. Give it up.
That was a pretty slow strike from Monty. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit cooler. These guys aren't firing on all 8 cylinders, but if he really wanted to, he'd get from the tip of his nose to the base of his tail. So hard and fast that no other animal in Australian bush could be blasted and attacked. Now, you kind of just caught me a feral pig. It looked very nice, so I reckon you jump back in the water and see what happens.
Do you have to?
Yeah, come on. Let's get in the water. Again.
Alright, so he's already gone back under. So as soon as I I do get back in, again, he's going to hone in on where I am without popping up, without seeing where I am. He knows where I am, but I try and get my feet over this side of the enclosure. How cool is that, eh? Such a cool angle. So, literally he can strike out from beneath the water surface and he can like whack this fence in one go. So you never feel too comfortable or confident standing on this side of the enclosure. But the scariest part about the crocodile, obviously he's got these big teeth in his mouth. Behind that is just this immense amount of jaw pressure. He has more jaw pressure than any other animal on the planet. So if he did strike out there and I slipped over and he grabbed me mid-body, I would explode out both ends like a chipped toothpaste. So he's great at doing those strikes and pretty much killing an animal on impact. There's another form of strike that he's good at that we'll try and show up here in the ramp.
Yeah, no worries. So what we're going to show you today is known as the tail walk. Now this isn't a circus trick we've had to teach any of our crocodiles here at the zoo. In fact, it's a natural behaviour that they do from the moment they hatch out of the egg, about 15 centimetres long. At that time, they're actually on the bottom of the food chain, so they make their way over to the reeds and they start using this technique on small little insects, small birds, little bugs and things like that. The way they do it is pretty much how Monty's doing it right now. He's got those feet planted on the bottom of the pond. He'll use that big large tail to propel himself up and out of the water, and that's where they'll go and catch those little bugs and things like that. But of course, as the crocodile, give it up for Monty, how cool is that? So of course, as the crocodile gets larger, so does their prey items. So the crocodile, well Monty in fact, can actually do it at this size and even larger. So of course in the wild their food items will change. They go for fruit bats, flying foxes, silly zookeepers overhanging the water's edge. But they'll use the exact same technique from the moment they hatch out to the size of Monty and even larger. So when you are up in Northern Australia, there's some great melaleuca trees. They look like a great place to go for a fish, but you've got to be wary of the tail walking crocodile.
Alright, come on, come over here. We'll try and get it out one more time over this side of the enclosure once he figures out I'm not standing there anymore. Come on, mate. Come on, big fella, you're supposed to be smart. Come here. So, once he turns around and locks onto my movement, super movement orientated eyesight, he comes back under, he goes back into that hunt and stalk mode. Get him out one more time. So now he's going to strike, now he's up on land. That right there is about flat out for a crocodile. There you go, mate. Get it So, if you have a look at the way his body is designed, you can sort of see why he is really float. He's got these short, stumpy little legs. He's got this big, round belly, a little bit like your big, round belly, mate. It's just like that. He can't run very fast, so he's got to drag all that weight on those short, little, stumpy legs. He's got that really big, long, beautiful tail behind him, and watch as he starts to make his way back to the water. He has to drag that big belly, drag that big, long tail behind him. It's like us trying to walk around with a couple of ties trying to around our waist. Once he does get back to the water, he goes back in, he becomes weightless. And that's where the crocodile is dangerous, not necessarily up here.
With some of our awesome birds of prey we've brought you. Now, we've got quite a few of our Australian natives here today. The first bird we're bringing you is very ferocious, but he is not actually specifically one of our larger raptors like you're probably expecting to see in a bird of prey show. So that's because we've got so many birds of prey here in Australia, and it's actually a very broad term. So what it is any bird that eats other animals. So that could be anything from the kites and the eagles and the falcons that you're thinking of, all the way down to this little man. This is Beerwah, a big ferocious bird of prey. First up. So here, does anyone know what he is? Yeah, he's a bush stone curlew. Spot on. So this is our wonderful boy Feathers. He thinks I've got his food and I don't. Crystal has it. So he is a bird of prey, of course, because he is eating meat items. The main thing these guys are going after, well, not main thing, it is literally anything. These guys are incredibly opportunistic. They've got that short, stumpy, pointed beak that they're really able to dig into and push onto anything that they can get their sights on, really. So as he comes through the front, you'll notice he definitely doesn't have 3 of these main features that we're going to go through that makes a bird of prey a very specialised hunter, and that's a raptor. So this is definitely not a raptor. When we say a raptor, we're thinking our eagles, our falcons, and our hawks. So, oh, hello, Fez. So the main thing you want to look at is, of course, those feet. So he's got some very stilt-like legs. It's based on where he lives in the shrubland here in Australia, just kind of like what you'd see around. That's how he gets around, is mostly by running. So these guys are not too, they can fly, certainly are capable of it, but the main thing they're doing is running through that scrubland. So they definitely don't have sharp, powerful talons. Next thing, of course, is that beak. So he's not got a hooked or curved beak, which is what you're expecting to see in a raptor. He's got this very pointed beak, but very pointed beak means that he can eat a lot of different things. So a wonderful opportunistic hunter. He'll really take down little insects, small rodents, and amphibians, or even little reptiles, literally anything. Now, one of my favourite facts about this species is that they're actually very, very territorial. And Fez, as an individual, is incredibly territorial. We actually walk him outside of this habitat, all out and about in the real world, and he thinks that this entire zoo is his territory. So sometimes he'll actually fly off and go and harass the wild bush stone curlews, telling them to get out of his habitat. I'm like, mate, you can't have the whole place to yourself. But he really does think it is all his. So these guys, bush stone curlews, have an amazing, quite a few amazing mechanisms for defense. The first one, when he threw those wings out, was that really obvious sign that he's like, I'm a big predator. There, look at him throwing those wings out. So I've seen him do that to the lizards that you see around. He will run and harass them and hiss at them. It's very, very funny. So they hiss as well. They make a very, another funny noise. Has anyone heard of bush stone curlew out in the wild? Yeah, right. This is not my definition. You can Google it. But Google says it sounds like a shrill old woman screaming in the forest. So when you hear a bush stone curlew, it is quite alarming. But it is an awesome mechanism for them to get their point across. But police have actually been called into the forest thinking there is a woman. I'm not kidding. And then it's turned out it's just a bush stone curlew. So a really awesome bird of prey that we have here in Australia. Not the smartest one when they come to laying their eggs. They actually will just lay them in shrubland, just like this, just on the ground. They don't really make much of a nest, and that's not a very smart mechanism for Australia when we've got so many snakes around that could easily take their eggs. So you kind of see why he has to be so good at defending things and why he's got that really shrill noise that he makes. I've not personally heard him make it, but he's certainly capable of it. Now I can already hear the chatter of this next bird coming out. I'll be quiet to see if we can hear him. Do you hear that already? So that is the call of the next bird we're going to be meeting. This bird specifically, he is a raptor. So we've already been through 2 of those key features. Here he comes. This is Byron. He's our beautiful Brahminy kite. So we've been through 2 of those features already. His amazing hooked or curved beak, those sharp, powerful talons, and the last feature that is very specific to a raptor is that incredible vision. So Byron here, he is a Brahminy kite. You are actually able to see these guys locally. I see them around my place in Caloundra. So they are a very awesome local species. You'll mostly see them up around the waterways for a very specific reason. These guys are one of the only kite species here in Australia that predominantly feed on fish. And they have some amazing adaptations for it. So one of their hunting techniques, you got it? Being a kite, they are very, very cheeky. They have several very smart hunting techniques. And one of them, he actually is called raking. So that's when he's capable of flying very, very, very close to the water. He practically... in here, you can see that for those of you close. I'll bring him close to lots of people as we go along. But you can see he had no feathers down there. So what that means is he can reach into the water and not weigh himself down and get too wet. Now he's pretty awesome. So these guys have a couple hunting techniques. That is pressure in those talons. One of our 3 key raptor features. He was deemed unsuccessful for release back into the wild. If we were to put him back into the wild, he would not be able to catch his own food. So that's why it's awesome to have places like this zoo available to have birds like him meet a very different fate. You know, he could have had a really unfortunate ending, but instead he was able to be trained up and come join our free flight team. And we love flying Byron. He's an absolute character. He is one of my favourite birds to free fly for sure, and you can hear why? He's very, very cute. So this next bird of prey coming out is our largest here in Australia. Those of you that were at our little thing this morning, I won't give it away who it is, but this bird, his name's Emilio, one of the most widespread raptors that we have here in Australia, and I'll tell you exactly why. They are so well adapted to our Australian conditions that you can see them pretty much anywhere. I guarantee you've probably seen one yourself. Now this boy coming out, he is absolutely enormous. I like to stand nice near the cactus and out of his way as he flies in because he's going to make a beautiful entrance very shortly. Now our largest bird of prey, his wingspan, here he comes, measures 1.7 meters. This is Emilio, our wedge-tailed eagle. He is absolutely enormous. So this guy is one of two of our males here. His story is quite interesting. He is actually a wild-born eagle. That's why he's cutting it pretty close to me sometimes. No, he's very cheeky, but this boy was actually born to the wild and is another great rescue story of exactly why wildlife carers and places like this zoo are so important. Because unfortunately what happened was some very, again, well-intended people found Emilio with an injury out in the wild. Now they decided to take him in and then take him on as a bird in their own home. Now imagine having a little eagle grow up to be a big eagle and suddenly you've got something, you know, the size of a pretty medium-sized dog running around on your couch. Now they thought that was pretty tough to look after as well. So unfortunately what ended up happening was that they put him back into the wild, a bird that they had then raised. So he started looking for people in order to get his food. So obviously created a bit of a problem around the picnic tables and things like that. So that's when Steve and Terry stepped in. If any of you had come to the zoo a few decades or so ago, he got stuck. A few decades or so ago, this is the eagle that you would see working with Steve himself. So that's when these guys stepped in, and then we got him into our free flight program. And people like Crystal have been working with Emilio for over a decade now, and he does some awesome work in here, but also out.
Can you see? Yeah. It's coming in. Here it comes. See? There's two of them up there. So they're both in there now. Let's do a show in about 5 minutes.
They're very friendly as well.
Not over the vents, to the vents.
No.
Not under it.
As I clean quite a lot of food. Now to put that in perspective we might understand, it's like if a 60-kilo person were to eat 20 kilos of food. Now the reason for this is due to them being very active. Now they are as hyperactive as a 5-year-old child with a resting heartbeat of 200 beats per minute. Now, as I mentioned, you will get to see our otters interacting with some enrichment toys, which is not only amazing for us to see, but actually plays an important role for our otters. Now, with that otter's intelligence being the likes of a 5-year-old child, it's pretty important to keep that mind active and stimulated. Now, enrichment toys are a great way to do this, but we actually do training with our otters